Hello everyone, my name's Broken Hyperlink and I just want to welcome you all back to UK Speedrun Gathering. Normally this event is held over a 2-day weekend in Glasgow, Scotland, but due to the current situation of the world, we're bringing you 3 days of exciting speedruns right from the comfort of your own homes. Very chill weekend we've got planned up here. Speaking of plans, we have got RuffledBricks here doing Worm's Armageddon, so I'll just pass it right over to you, RuffledBricks.
Thank you very much. Yes, welcome to pretty much the polar opposite of Pyjamarama in every way, shape or form. This is Worm's Armageddon. I'm going to be doing a all missions, any percent run of this game, which basically involves completing all 9 of the basic training tasks in the basic training, followed by all 33 of the missions in the game. And by the way, I just want to give a quick shout out to all of the runners from UKSG who kindly donated their names for me to name my Worm team after. I hope I do you all justice in the heat of the action. We have to do the basic training thing at the beginning just because the missions will not allow us to do them unless they feel that we have earned our salt. So that is why we're starting with this, and here we go. Let's start things off in 3, 2, 1, go. So basic training is basically just target practice to get used to the weapons in the game. We start with grenades. You can set the fuse on a grenade between 1 and 5 seconds, but we basically just use 1 second for that first training section there. This is the shotgun training. Shotguns basically fire bullets in a straight line. You get 2 shots per shotgun, as you can see from the text at the top of the window, although as it's training we get to just spam them infinitely. This is the bazooka. Bazooka is a wind-based weapon, and it basically just gets blown in the direction of the wind. The wind gauge is in the bottom right hand corner, so you can see what direction it's going in and how strong it is. And this training here is with one of the most important weapons in the game, the ninja rope. This enables you to swing across long distances like so. You get an infinite amount of shots per rope with the ninja ropes in all missions, but the moment you get off the rope and land on the floor, that is the end of that rope's usefulness. Second grenade training there, just same as the first one, but it just adds a second target for you to deal with. And here is the fire punch, which we use. You have to grab that crate there to get a couple more fire punches so we can get these targets. Fire punch, of course, is a homage to the Street Fighter games there, although I'd say that particular punch they do is more Dan than Ken. And here's the second rope training here, which basically just involves dropping weapons off a rope, like so. Dynamite is a particularly powerful weapon. You'll be seeing a lot throughout this run. And something I'm doing at the end of each mission / training module, by the way, is I am hitting Alt and F4 during the fade out. The reason being, this is a little trick we do called fade skip. It just basically gets you to the congratulations screen quicker, but you have to do it during the fade out, otherwise the game will count it as a fail rather than a success. So that actually saves around 40 seconds over the course of the run by doing that after every mission. Final grenade training here before we get into the missions, and this angle here is particularly hard, but we managed to get it first try, which is nice. Got that target there. And that is basic training done, so quick bit of menu switching now, and in we go into the first mission, Pumpkin Problems. So the object of this mission is to basically grab the crate that's in the bottom right hand corner of the playing area there, and I'm doing that by deliberately just dropping my worm onto the right hand mine there, because that just causes a nice little back route so we can actually get down to the crate there. You'll notice there are enemy worms in this mission as well. All the ones with blue names are the enemy, but don't need to worry about those because this is a very quick mission where we just get the crates very quickly. Second mission here, this one is called Operation Market Garden, and we're going to start with a pixel perfect 2-second grenade on the sentry here to knock him into a pile with the 2 grenadiers here. Piling is a technique we're going to be using a lot throughout this run, because the more close together enemy worms are, the more possible, well, the more damage you can get on them all in one go, basically. And here comes the RNG section of the mission. So the worm there threw a grenade at Cryfor, accidentally deflected it on themselves. So the Jack of Hearts here is now going to be able to hopefully take advantage of the situation with, again, another pixel perfect grenade here. Slightly different from what we'd normally do. But there we are. So got a grenade on all 3 of those worms there. And we've managed to one-shot all of them. When worms die on land, you'll notice they just blow themselves up with a little bit of TNT. That can cause up to 25 damage on any worms who are nearby, as long as they are dead centre. So because of that, we managed to kill all 3 of those off, like so. Object of this mission, and many missions in the game, by the way, is just to kill off the enemy worms. And that is a very annoying shot he just did there, because I wanted to use the angle that I used for the first shot again for that grenade, but instead we're going to have to use a backup angle, which will require dropping down here and just nudging across so that it gets into a vertical, horizontal position, sorry. And let's just try and find my notch. So that might be slightly off, we'll see how it goes, but just throwing 4-second grenade up like that, and in it goes straight into Grenadier. There. Yeah, this is one of the most complicated missions in the game, even though it's only the second mission, because you have to learn loads of backup angles in this to be able to deal with any situation that the RNG throws at you. The worms don't have a great intelligence level in this mission, so because of that, they can do a lot of shots that do very different things. Go on, focus, lad. Right, I probably should have gone for 4 seconds on this shot here, but okay, a little bit of damage, not that much. 12. All right. So hopefully the next grenade here will do the job. Although, is he going to escape upwards? No, oh, he's thinking about it. He's thought about it, but we'll see how we go. So I'm going to go with a 5-second grenade at the same angle with this worm now, just to see how that goes. Oh, and bang on. There we are. So we managed to do that one in 5 turns, despite slightly unwieldy circumstances with the petal getting blown up there. So that's that mission. Now the next mission, I'm deliberately resetting this mission 4 times before I start it. The reason I'm doing that is because the more times you fail missions in this game, the more the game tries to help you out by giving you bonus crates. And so we actually need a bonus crate here for the first move we're going to do in this mission. You see we get 4 crates here. If you try it straight away, you only get 2. But with resetting 4 times, we get 4, and that enables us to do a very nifty first turn here, where I'm just going to angle myself here with the captain and just bounce the captain off the crate there with a baseball bat, knocking him and the other 2 grenadiers there into the water like so. It's a nice efficient triple kill you can get there only by resetting the mission. Because of that, we're only going to get a bronze medal in this mission rather than the gold, and that's why this is an any percent strategy only. Any percent basically means you can get whichever medal you like for the missions. Now Grenadier there doing a little bazooka shot there, and I'm going to try and take advantage of that with a move called Bat Trick. So first of all I need to swing all the way over to the right hand side using the ninja rope. And then I'm going to position myself on the right of this field soldier, and I'm looking for a specific notch on this rope here. Okay, that should be it. And oh no, I scuffed it unfortunately. Okay, so what I was trying to do there, so the baseball bat, only you can only aim the baseball bat so high up as per its default settings. However, if you aim higher up with a different weapon beforehand and then switch to the baseball bat whilst jumping in the air, that will actually enable you to aim the bat at the position that your last weapon was at. And that is a nice little depends if we can get it, but we've screwed that, so we're going to have to find a different way of doing this mission now. So here we go, roping across here, and we're getting this crate over here, which is a double damage crate. I'm just trying to think where the best place to aim this is going to be now. Let's go here. Oh, so actually got a little bit of a knock on the field soldier there, which isn't really that helpful. 67. All right, just trying to figure out how we're going to sort this one out now. Okay, all right, I've got my backup strat sorted. Yeah, this mission is quite difficult because of the RNG. You get very different situations coming up depending on what that grenadier does on the second turn. We actually had quite a gift on this one, but we didn't quite take advantage of it fully, to say the least. Right, this is going to be fun. So, so what we're going to do on Field Soldier on the left here is we're going to do a little thing called Cluster Trick. So there's a weapon called a Cluster Bomb that you get in this game. It basically sends a bunch of little bomblets up into the air when it explodes, but if you pop the cluster bomb underneath your worm's bottom while they are standing on the side of another worm, then your worm absorbs all of the clusters, like so, and it just means that you get a very, well, maybe not very, but pretty high roll of damage as a result from all the clusters blowing up at the same point. So I'm going to be using that trick quite a bit throughout this run. Nice grenade there from the Field Soldier. So let's see, just trying to think what the quickest way of dealing with the Field Soldier is going to be. I could do a napalm strike, but that's the wind is looking a little bit off for that, so I'm going to do just a close range shot here to get them off using the trusty bazooka, like so. Apache Smash died, apologies Apache, but just needed to get them in as quick as possible because we're a little behind time here. So here we go, cool as ice. This mission, this guard here is trying to blow up the South Pole, and we have to stop them. So using a jetpack there to get down to that crate, and firing the Uzi at the crates above the guards, hoping that the flames would drop down and knock the guard in. That has not happened, and we've actually got the worst possible RNG outcome in this mission. The guard didn't even drop down to the lower positions, so because of that, we're now going to have to go in there and try and do this a little bit cerebrally. So, oh, come on. So, using the flamethrower here, and oh my goodness, right, we're going to have to reset that mission because he's not playing ball. Fortunately, this is a short mission, so there shouldn't be too much problem. But, so, trying again. And there we are. So that's what you ideally want to see in the mission. Like, basically, you want the Uzi to get a one shot on the guard there. But didn't happen on this occasion until it was too late to make a difference. Here's mission 5. This one is called Do the Locomotion. This is another grab the crate mission. We're going for the crate in the bottom right hand corner, which is usually where the crates are. And doing a back jump there into a fire punch. And we did that at a very specific timing there, because you'll notice it actually left a 1 pixel spur at the bottom of the fire punch tunnel there, and that enables us to jump up to the top of the tree here, where we can now use a bungee, and we're going to use that to try and get onto the train. And yeah, we just got it. So yeah, not the not the best bungee there. You kind of want the bungee to get you all the way over to the blue crate there, which contains a jetpack. And that's what we're going to use to get the crate in the bottom right hand corner. But it's fine. So now we're just going to make our way across the train there, avoiding this mine. You've got a couple of seconds grace on that to avoid it. And then the action stops there briefly to count up the damage. That basically always happens if anyone takes damage midway through a turn. And then just using the jetpack there and grabbing the crate like so, and using skip go at the end as well there, because it just gets you to the menu a little bit quicker. Now this mission is called Sand in Your Eye. And this one is another kill all the enemy worms mission, although the briefing does not really give that away. What it actually tells you is that there's a crate that's going to be dropping on top of this pyramid after several turns time, which you're supposed to get, but that doesn't actually that doesn't actually signal the end of the mission. Killing off all the enemy worms does. So we're going to be just doing that long before the crate even gets here. Doing a bazooka on the sentries there to pile them down into that hole just to the right there. And I actually hit scroll lock just before I did that as well, because I set a mine off on the left just before I did that, which blows another mine into the Field Soldier on the far left of the terrain. and the camera tries to yank itself over to watch that while you're doing it, which can really distract you from the bazooka. So I deliberately stopped the camera from doing that using scroll lock. Now here we get a longbow. Longbow is like a shotgun in that you get 2 shots with it, but it fires arrows rather than bullets, which have a longer... They send worms longer, so we use that to get that first worm into the sea. I just need to find a specific notch here. And the keyboard is not wanting to give it to me. I think that's it. Like, we're just going to have to go with it and try it, because I've tried several times to line that up. No, that was it. But because of the position that the sentries are in there, they didn't quite do what I wanted them to do. Basically, the mine is supposed to blow the 2 sentries there down to that first aid crate. And in doing so, one of the sentries will die, and the explosion will blow up the first aid crate, which will cause a significant amount of damage to the other one, killing them off as well. Instead, we're going to have to add a second turn in order to be able to do that, but that's okay. And now here we go with another tough trick. This is a rope knock. And what he did there, we used the momentum of the worm to knock the secret agent into the hole that we just made with the grenade. Something to note about rope knocks in this game is that in the missions, rope knocks are technically disabled. If you try and do a rope knock during turn time, the game will basically just velcro all of the worms to the terrain to stop them from moving. However, what we did was we waited until the turn time was up, because you get 3 seconds of retreat time after placing the grenade. And because of that, it meant that then suddenly they were unstuck from the terrain and we were able to kill them. So there we are, we just killed off the sentry with a backup bazooka there. Huds is going to take one for the team here as a result, but again, that's fine. A little bit of time lost as a result of that, but hey, sometimes those sentries just don't play along. Now here we go on to the next mission called Not Mushroom out here. Bit of a misnomer because there's plenty of mushrooms out here. Starting off there by resetting the mission once so that we actually get these girders here. We get a girder starter pack which enables us to just place extra platforms on the terrain. Get 5 of them. And this is another collect the crate mission. It's this one in the bottom right we need to get. And you only have 1 ninja rope to do this. And another girder starter pack as well, I don't care about that. So, going to basically just use the rope to get on top of the mushroom. And then using the girders here, I need a little bit more of a wind up for that shot there, because I placed that final girder a bit too far away. Grabbing the teleport from that crate there, and just teleporting straight onto the crate in order to be able to get it. This mission is called Big Shot. First thing we're going to do is a little sub-pixel jump here, which if you get that wrong you can end up falling off the side of that purple mushroom there and losing the turn, so I had to do that very carefully there. Killing off this guard and this sentry on the first turn with a longbow, although something to note about longbows is they only do 15 damage in terms of the arrows that you get. So because of that, we're basically just arrowing these worms into nearby mines in order to get enough of a damage count to be able to kill them off. So just jump in all the way up here, there, and positioning my worm very specifically here, because we're doing probably the first major AI manipulation in the game. So this sentry on the right here, because of the position I've put myself in, sentry is going to walk to the right, they're going to jump left. They're going to walk up to the top of the frog's eye, and they are going to fire an Uzi at us, which is basically going to rob this frog of eyesight in one eye. However, you'll notice the sentry is right next to a mine on the frog's head now, and this is pivotal for the double kill we're going to try and get in this turn. So here we go, using the rope here. Again, we've only got 1 in this mission, so we have to do all of this just using the rope's various shots. This mine does not want to go off. There we go. So something to note about the mines is that they only detect worms around them every 10 frames. So you can mess up the timing several times in a row like I did. and it will take a while for them to explode. But there we are. We've used the mine there to knock the sentry into the other mine, which we then set off, and that kills that sentry entirely just with the mines. And then grabbing this crate, which contains an old woman, letting that go, and she's just going to nag, complain, moan and pine for the old days until she can't take it anymore. She explodes right on the guard's head, dealing 50 damage there. Ideally, you want the old woman to plop the worm into the water, just because it's quicker that way. Land deaths are slower than water deaths, but I didn't manage it on that occasion. So this mission is called Water Surprise. So we need to kill this general off underneath the Eiffel Tower, but we don't have anything other than longbows to start this one off. So we're going to use those to shoot these mines off the side of the Eiffel Tower. This is going to enable us to be able to climb it in a bit. This second mine here, we face tank a little bit of damage from that, but both of our worms survive, so it's fine. Yeah, this general doesn't really do much for several turns, so we are clear to go for the moment. Let me just get up on the that bit of the Eiffel Tower here. And I'm going to place a girder in a very specific position here, or relatively specific. Like, you've got a few pixels grace with this, but we're placing it there so that we can deflect our somersaults, because as we have no good weapons, we have to get this crate on top of the Eiffel Tower, which contains an aqua sheep, which is a cousin of the super sheep weapon. It's a sheep that can fly around and just blow up enemies, but aqua sheep can actually go underwater as well. And what you're supposed to do in this mission is guide the sheep all the way under the water so it can get the enemy. But instead we're going to do something a little bit different here. Grabbing the aqua sheep here, letting it go, and then we basically start the flight on the sheep, but then we deactivate it so that the sheep just falls directly down, and the explosion of the sheep is big enough so it just knocks the general straight into the water, like so. This mission is called Jurassic Worm. This is a nice quick one-turner if all goes well. It's a kill the leader mission, so we only have to kill one enemy worm, and that is the captain between this dinosaur's legs. I'm going to do that using a mole bomb, which we just got from that crate there. Now I just need to get this right. There we go. So firing the mole down so it digs all the way through the dinosaur like so. Meantime, we set off the mine next to it, which then knocks the adjacent mine down into the tunnel, which then blows the captain into the water, like so. Every other worm surrenders at our superior skills, and we get to move on to the next mission. Now, this mission we're going to reset once, because this gives us a spare crate, which contains a dynamite, and this is very handy for this one. This mission is called Chemical Warfare. Starting off with a Dragon Ball there, which we just do right as we're doing a jump at the same time, which cancels the animation out for it. We're placing Cry 4 right at the edge there, because this mission has a lot of AI manipulation in it. I'll explain why as we go along, but basically all this terrain here is indestructible, and you'll notice a lot of the worms are holed up in it. Now, fortunately, most of them don't have much health, so because of that, we can kill them off with weapons that can penetrate some of the thinner parts of the terrain, such as that fire punch there. Fire punches always do a minimum of 30 damage, so because of that, it kills them off straight away, like so. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to kill this major off and baseball bat the one in the end. So there's not a huge amount to talk about this section, so hyperlink, if there's anything you want to talk about for a bit, be my guest.
Yeah, I would just like to remind everyone why we're holding this marathon. We are currently raising money for Crisis, a charity here in the UK which are supporting people out of homelessness for good. This is through education, training and support with housing, employment, health and everything. 90% of your donations will go towards supporting Crisis, and 10% will go towards supporting UKSG and future events. Here's more about what they do in their own words, just very quickly. So one of the things they do is, through working with others, they are trying to produce a plan to help end homelessness once and for all, which is a very good thing if I say so myself. It can be very hard, especially during these times. So anything you can give, big or small. Don't feel pressured, but we'd love you to send some money our way.
Absolutely. Thank you very much there, Hyperlink. So the AI manipulation I was doing there is that Major in the middle there just did an airstrike over there, and in doing so moved all the way to the right there, and because of that we're able to kill them off now with a dynamite like so. That Major is really hard to kill off if you do not get that AI manipulation, and to do that you pretty much have to get all of the worms in the positions that I put them in as you went along. If you have a worm out of place by the time you get to that turn, then they're not likely to behave. So their field soldier now just desperately trying to cling on to life there by doing an airstrike on a worm that they couldn't possibly reach. So we're going to punish them with a minigun there onto the mine. Minigun, very powerful weapon. It's basically just a souped up machine gun. Can get up to 100 damage on a worm if used at close range. But 88 is more than enough for our purposes. And then fade skipping just into this mission, No Substitute, which introduces everyone's favourite Monty Python inspired weapon from the game. I am of course talking about the Lord's favourite projectile, the Holy Hand Grenade. Going to appear in a few missions over the course of this run. So just going to line this up perfectly here. So pop this, jump back, jump back onto the grenade like this. These movements here basically enable us, so the very powerful explosion you get from the Holy Hand Grenade, and it knocks Cry4 into the field soldier there so that they go down into the water. Also knock this artillery into the field soldier on top of the palm tree, with the grave damage there just knocking the field soldier in. So we managed to get a very efficient triple kill there as a result of just a pixel perfect Holy Hand Grenade strat. Now this field soldier here is probably going to try and attack HUDs. Doing it with a minigun, so nothing to worry about there. Mainly because the wind is going left. If the wind's going right, then they'll tend to go with a bazooka instead, which can have some bad outcomes. But here we're just switching to the shotgun here, and we're going to use these bullets to kill off each one. Using, again, another pixel perfect shot there just to get the field soldier into the water there. You'll notice the water is rising very slowly between every turn in this mission as well. Not something we really need to worry about here, but that will come to play in the next mission as we jump all the way across to the right hand side, and second shot of the shotgun just knocking the Major in, tanking a little damage ourselves just to speed up things a little bit. And there we killed them off again. Basically, just to remind everyone, the object of all the missions is to kill off the enemy worms in them, unless I state otherwise. This mission is called Who Let the Floodgates Open. Starting off with the other pixel perfect strat here, jump by the way, to get up onto this green cylinder. And here we go now with a... We're going to bounce a grenade this time to get up into the rafters here to get this secret agent. And as you can see, the grenade there knocks him down. It knocks the mine onto the left-hand secret agent, knocking them both down here. And the shtick with this mission is that the water, as you can see, rising significantly between every turn. So the object is to climb our way to safety and kill off all the enemy worms. This field soldier gets manipulated by leaving Cry4 in the position that we have done, into actually making the foolish mistake of walking down to the bottom with his other two comrades there, wasting a turn that he could have used to teleport to safety. And Cry4 dies, that's fine, we don't need any more of him in this mission. And so we're going to pop a girder here and use that to get up onto the field soldier, like so. And as you can see, the water is now paying off. It's taken away the worms in the bottom right-hand corner. So that's the scripted part of the this mission almost over. Now we go into the RNG, because this secret agent can do a number of things on this turn. They're just moving here and skipping go, which is good. So that's one of the better outcomes that they can do. Sometimes they can teleport to really awkward positions on the map. And that can be a real pain to chase them around. So using the baseball bat there, and you notice we do have a ninja rope in our arsenal here, but we haven't used it yet because we can't. You don't actually get access to the ninja rope for the first 3 turns of this run, so that's why we had to use the girder to get up here. And then this position that Jack of Hearts is in here is going to manipulate the secret agent on the left here to firing towards us. And they did exactly what I wanted them to do. They made a hole so that we can now get into there and deal with them. If they don't do that, you have to make your own hole, which is a bit of a pain. So here we go now. We've got our ropes. Let's get up there and cause some havoc. We'll never cause havoc with roping like that, son. Right. So we're going to start off with a longbow. Just jumping underneath the secret agent there so I can get within their sprite. That just enables you to longbow them a little bit more efficiently. I'm going to do a forward jump this way just to manage this jump, because otherwise it's really difficult to get across that bit. And then second longbow attack there. And we're going to hope that the secret agent now skips go. What we don't want to do is teleport. If they teleport, that could cause a problem. Okay, they're doing a bazooka instead, so that's absolutely fine because it's not in a position that we can do anything about. Ah, they have moved slightly up the cable, but that's okay. They haven't moved anywhere near far enough that it's going to be a problem. So we're going to use minigun now.
All right.
So I'm just switching the names off so I can see the angle a little bit better. And both of them haven't gone into the water, but hopefully we should do... Yeah, we got enough damage on both of them so that they both died. So again, because it's land deaths rather than water deaths, it's a little bit slower than what I would like. But on this mission, I'm not complaining because this is a pretty tough mission. So, with that one out of the way, now we are on to Super Sheep to the Rescue, where you get to see the vanilla Super Sheep in action. This one is an artillery mission. We can't move our worms, so we need to basically just use the Super Sheep to grab a fire punch crate from down here so that we can deal with them. We actually reset the mission once just to make another crate spawn slightly earlier on in the maze, because that just makes it a little bit quicker and easier. So, you know, the perfect combination. And doing the fire punch on the guard there. There was a way that you could actually cheese this mission when this game first came out. You could actually just use the Super Sheep to blow the enemy worm up straight away, because the game didn't care whether your worm survived. They just cared if the enemy worm died. But that's been patched out of that mission, although we will be using that dynamic on future missions. Here's coming up is one of the coolest strats in the game, I think. This is called Hot Stuff, this mission. We're up against 3 worms with 300 health each, so you're probably looking at that thinking, how on earth are we going to deal with that? Well, we grabbed ourselves a double damage crate, and I'm going to do a little quarter pixel manipulation here, so that I can then just back up here and drop the Holy Hand Grenade here to create the biggest explosion in the entire run. You might want to put your fingers in the ears. There we go there. So what that did is we knocked the Field Marshal into the water there. The second one got knocked in via the mine, like so. And our worm there has landed next to the third one, who hasn't taken much damage, but the grave damage there just knocked Field Marshal straight into the water. So we've managed to basically kill off 900 HP worth of enemy worm in one turn. There's one of my favourite strats in the game, that one. And I have to say thank you to Deadcode for figuring out how to do that consistently there. Because if you don't do that sub-pixel or quarter-pixel manipulation at the beginning, by the way, then you only have a 52% chance of that strat actually going well. This mission is called Trouble on Mount Wormmoor. We're using a couple of ropes here just to swing across, because this is a kill the leader mission again, and our leader here is the general underneath the Mount Wormmoor sign. Going to use a kamikaze here, which is, as it suggests, is a suicidal weapon where your worm just flies off in the direction of your choice and makes a nice little tunnel into the water that the general gets knocked into. And then here is the third and final kill the leader mission, which we're doing 4 resets of in order to get a very specific crate to make this one quicker. This mission is called Chateau Assassin, and this is a mission that I think has given people a lot of trouble over the years, doing it casually. For the speedrun, however, it's not too difficult. So we're using the select worm utility there just so that we can get all of our worms lined up here in one turn, so we can get up onto this little roof here. And I'm going to switch the girder, just pop a girder here at this angle. Like that, and just doing a jump there and a jump back onto the oil drum to line things up. So the leader that we have to kill is this general in the bottom right hand corner. They don't have much in the way of weapons yet, but neither do we. So getting over there is going to be a little bit of a problem, but we basically reset this mission 4 times so that we got this low gravity crate here. And as you see, we've activated low gravity, and that means that we can now get up onto the roof here and grab this crate, which contains a fire punch. We're then going to backflip onto here and do a fire punch on HUDs, which will basically use the explosion and the low grav there to launch HUDs onto the general, knocking him into the water, like so. Now that's another favourite strat of mine. As you can see, the Major there just looks at that and thinks, what on earth am I up against, and gives up immediately. So here we go. This is a bit of a tricky one sometimes. This one's called Rescue Agent Dennis. The concept of this mission is Cry4 here is playing the part of Agent Dennis, a very, very tooled up worm who isn't that bright. So we have to help him through a confrontation with 8 enemy worms there. We killed the first 2 off there with a grenade on the beginning, and then this here is a nice little manipulation you can do where if you stand in the right position, assassin will do a bazooka on you, but sometimes knock themselves down in the first place in the event. Now this is a tricky little bit here. I'm going to do a napalm strike on these 2. And so it doesn't matter that the secret agent on the right survived there. We do have a little bit of a problem with that secret agent knowing that there is a crate that has landed below them, which contains first aid, and that is going to stop, or it's going to be a bit of a problem when it comes to knocking the next 2 worms into the water, because the crate drops in this mission are entirely RNG apart from the first one, and sometimes they just land in positions that just make it really annoying to try and kill off the worms that you need to. So we're going to use a homing missile. I'm going to hope that this goes well. So let's see, pop in it. Homing missile works. You pop the cursor where you want the missile to go, and you fire it out, and then after half a second the homing mechanism kicks in, knocks the worm down like that, and unfortunately it missed secret agent there, which I think is as a result of the napalm strike knocking secret agent out of the way. So something to note about this mission is that although you get a considerably enviable selection of weapons in this, you only get 1 ninja rope, and that makes mobility in this mission particularly difficult. So let's see, how are we going to deal with this? Right, first of all I need to get up onto this platform. I'm trying to do this without using the rope. Here we go. Next thing we're going to do is to kill these worms off here. I'm going to chuck a banana bomb down at them. Now normally I would do a banana trick, as we call it, same way that we would with a cluster bomb, by just, as you can see, when a banana bomb blows up, all the little bananas just come up and do loads of damage. But if you do the cluster trick like we did earlier on that, then it does huge damage on them. However, I'm having to keep my worm in the fray here. So airstrike there. Fortunately it didn't knock Cry4 out of place there, so we should now be able to do this without too much trouble using our 1 ninja rope. So just attaching that to here, and then just going to try and figure out. I'm going to get this crate out of the way as well, because that is going to make it a little bit tough to get them. And I'm going to use, well, we could use the minigun, but like an Uzi will do enough here. So let's just, there we go, just shooting them straight in like that. So not quite an optimum Agent Dennis, but we actually did rescue Agent Dennis, which we don't normally do on that mission. Normally we just kill him off, but the game still counts it as a win, despite the title. This mission is called Horny Nuke for... I think they were struggling a little bit with titles at this point, but basically, like, this mission is what we would call a shopper mission. You start off with very few weapons, so we are going to grab bunch of crates in order to give us enough weapons that we can or enough weapons that we need rather to deal with the level. I'm going to start off with a grenade here, pixel perfect, on the side of artillery. That knocks artillery into the guard there, knocking them both down into the pile here with the grenadier and the other guard. And this pile here, we're going to use this banana bomb on right towards the end of the mission. But we're going to do banana trick to do that, which, as you can probably guess, will kill off Cry4. So we need to deal with all the other worms in the vicinity first. And I did a jump when I placed that grenade just to launch me right next to this crate here, which contains a holy hand grenade. So I'm going to grab that now. And second grenade trick here. Ooh. And okay, that's fine. So I got knocked out of place there, but that's absolutely fine. We got the 2 snipers into that pit there, which is where we want them, because now we can kill them off on the next turn. So jumping up here with a backflip. Oh, what are you doing, son? Get up there. Go back to jumping school. Right, firing a ninja right here, and I'm going to just drop my other grenade, my final grenade, over like that. And I tried to throw my worm as far to the left as possible because we're going to be working on artillery next. Went a little bit too high, but we still got a decent distance on that. Hopefully we will not take any real punishment here. Oh, it's the guard's turn, so we could actually take a little bit of damage here. Okay, not too much, so that wasn't too accurate and oozy. And actually guard stayed in place there, which is good, because that doesn't often happen in this mission. So maybe that will be the strat going forward. We'll see. Right, 47 is a good bunch of health here. So we're now going to use holy hand grenade on the artillery here, but we're having to do it from above, because you'll notice there's a crate down below artillery. You're supposed to grab that crate as part of the mission briefing, but again, it doesn't actually complete the mission. Killing off all the enemy worms does, so we're just going to ignore it entirely. But you do not want to blow it up, because if you blow it up, then the mission counts that as a fail. So there we go. So now we almost one-shotted artillery there. We were 4 HP off, which is quite unlucky. And spare a thought for artillery, by the way. Artillery is one of the most useless enemy worms in the entire run. Like they cannot move, and they don't have any good weapons to use on us. So now, I'm just trying to think here if I want to chance it on the grenadier. No, I'm not going to, because they're in better positions than normal. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to Uzi them down like that, and this is going to ensure that we've got a better position on the banana trick coming up. I just need to figure out which worm is best to do it on. I think the guard on top is probably going to be best. So there we go. So just popping that down there, nudging up, huge explosion like that, and as you can see, killed off all the enemy worms in one go, and our worm. But as I say, apart from the super sheep to the rescue mission, the game will let you still let you win if you kill off your worms, as long as you get the objective of the mission completed at the same time. You'll notice that sometimes the game fades to black as well. That's just the game giving us an instant replay, and that happens when you get the last shot in of a mission, or if you kill 3 or more worms at the same time, or if you skim a weapon or something like that. But we just mash straight through those, because I know what I just did was fine. I don't need to see it again. So here we go. This is rumbling in the farmyard. And as you can see, I shot a bazooka into the garden fork there, which knocked a mine onto the field soldier below. Also jumped onto a mine myself. That's just to knock my worm closer to the field soldier there. Now, Cry4 took a bit of a pounding as a result there, but nothing to worry about this stage. Oh, goodness me. And that, what I was trying to do there was I was trying to do a rope fling, where we actually bounced Jack off of the hay barrow there, but I accidentally pressed space too early, so because of that it didn't quite work out the way I planned. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch the roles of these worms now as a result of where we've got here, although that might be a bad idea. Alright, we'll figure this out. So using the rope here to grab these crates here, cluster bomb and dynamite, both of which we will need for this. So Just trying to think how best are we going to do this to not take too much damage. This should be fine. Cry for a little too high up here. I'm smelling a potential reset on this, but we will see how it goes. Basically there, the dynamite knocks artillery down with... wow, okay, I hadn't even thought that might be a possibility. Knocks the artillery down with the captain, which would be good for a double kill coming up, if Cry 4 lasts that long. We're going to see if that's going to happen first of all. So jumped across here and drop in the grenade next to the field soldier here. Doing it for 4 seconds here, which just gives me time to jump over to the left here onto the fork, which should stop the captain from airstriking us, although I think that window is actually gone, so we should be okay. And then we're going to do cluster trick on captain and artillery here. Let's hope it pays off, because we haven't got the best position for this, but... 73 damage. Okay, so as long as captain lands in this little pit here with artillery, perfect. Then the combined grave damage is going to kill the captain off, like so. And then we're going to kill off the field soldiers on the right here with a... let's go with a bazooka. So yeah, they're just skip and turn here because like they've only got Uzis and they're sort of basically pitted in that crater that we created earlier with the mine. So nothing that they can really do with us. So there we are, just killing both of them off at the same time. And that is the end of that mission. There is a 4-turn version of this mission you can do actually, but it's so reliant on getting the rope fling accurate that as you can see my prowess with the rope fling, I basically have the backup so you've got a spare rope. This mission is called Wooden Ambush. We're using the jetpacks here to grab ourselves this crate which contains a not a super sheep, a normal sheep, which we're just going to let get into here. And sheeps work, or sheep rather, work by you just use the space bar to blow them up when you want them to explode. So you have manual control of them, but their jumping can be a little erratic, so that's why we only use them in such situations like where we have a nice corridor between two branches to funnel them through sufficiently. Now I moved Cry 4 as far up as I could here within the tree, and that's because that manipulates this field soldier on the left here to shoot in at Paul Lister. And that is pivotal for actually getting access to those worms very shortly. So here we go with a grenade here. So doing a 4-second grenade, we're going to hope that this plops these two field soldiers down here. Did, perfect. Sometimes that grenade can end up with 1 or maybe even 2 survivors if you're unlucky, but we managed it that time. And then, because they're now gone, these field soldiers have no choice but to take a turn, so they're going to shoot another Zook at Paul Lister, opening up a nice little tunnel for us to get into this section, which means that we're now going to switch worm to Paul Lister, and we're just going to use a 1-second grenade here, which creates a hole, and if you just hold right after you place that grenade, then it blows your worm into the two field soldiers, knocking them into the water. Now, here's one of the scariest missions in the game. This one is called Go Bananas. We're going to try a very precise trick with this worm here. So, what we're going to do is line them up. And didn't quite get it there. So what we're trying to do is, it's a grab the crate mission. The crate is on the right hand side, and we're trying to time this grenade here so that it launches our worm into it like so. Okay, right, so I'm a little sluggish on the timing, so I'm just going to concentrate here a little bit while I try and get this right. Just bear with me. Oof, okay, we only have a limited amount of times to actually get this trick right, because otherwise the game will actually stop us from being able to do it. Alright, so where are we on the edge here? Okay, let's just go here. Oof, my timing is really off on this. This is the last chance I'm going to be able to get to actually do this trick, so let's see how we go. Didn't quite get it. Okay, so that's unfortunate. So basically, like, what this means now is that if we try and reset the mission again, then the game is going to plop a double damage crate in front of us, which will... I need more than one, so I'm going to have to reset it anyway. But this double damage crate basically makes it impossible to do the grenade launch strat there now. So what we're going to have to do instead is... we've got a couple of alternatives. I've got a chance to try the grenade trick again. But what I'm also going to do here is I've got the double damage crate out of the way. So I'm now just going to pop my worm there and just skip go. Just trying to think if I do want to try the grenade trick again, because I think my timing is just not on it today. So sentry here is going for a Zook there. I think I'm just going to get straight to the point. So, alternative way that we can do this, and I hope I get this right as well, because this one's going to take a while otherwise, is we can use a baseball bat. And there we go. So we actually just bat our worm over the banana instead, like that. It's kind of an annoying mission, this one, because the way you're supposed to do it is by using low gravity, but as you can see, there's a delay of like 5 turns on the low grav, so you don't actually get to use it until then. And sometimes, like if you're doing a low grav parachute, which is how you're supposed to do it vanilla style, the wind is just blowing the wrong way for a few turns, and then an earthquake is scheduled to happen, and that just knocks the crate into the water, which means you instantly fail the mission. So it's not one of the fairest missions in the game, that one, but we have managed to get through it. Despite a particularly rocky few attempts on that one. Sometimes it happens. Now here we go with 4 resets on this mission here, the drop zone. And these 4 resets basically spawn a shotgun crate here, like so, which we're going to... Have I got the right position there? Yeah, there we go. So, using the terrain there to just line up a shot, which we're going to do on one of the field soldiers down here. I didn't get what I wanted it to. Basically, let's just check this other shot is fine. Okay, yeah, so it was in the right position. We just got the timing wrong. Basically, we're trying to use the frame count, the frame timing on the mine, so that if you shoot that first field soldier at just the right time, it actually lands on the mine, which then blows the field soldier into the second field soldier and knocks them both off in one go, which means you can then use the second shot to kill one of these lower ones, like so. Third time I've managed to not get that trick in a marathon, which is a shame. One of these days we will get it. And I think I've just made an absolute boo-boo of this. So we're going to have to try and YOLO this shot. If I get this wrong, then... okay, we actually managed to get that shot there. I completely... Basically what happened is I missed it. I didn't get the terrain marker I wanted with that. So I'm having to just do this entirely improvised here. Okay, right. So we managed to get away with it. 3 poor lister down there, just as punishment for what just happened, but it's fine. Yeah, what I usually do, I usually switch to Worm 5, Apache Smash, in this situation, if the edge of the cliff has been blown up there, because Apache Smash is a really good terrain marker you can use to set up the shot there, but I forgot to do that, so I had to just do that shot completely by eye. And then we now are sort of semi-doing the mission the way it's supposed to be done here, which is you're supposed to float down to the field soldiers and use a combination of that fire punch and suicide bombers to kill each one individually, one by one, but we ain't got time for that, so we just use that to kill off the stragglers there, and we use the shotgun that we got from resetting 4 times for the rest. This mission is called Countdown to Armageddon, and this can be a real run killer if it wants to be. So we did a grenade on that field soldier on the left there, and I did a jump into Jack of Hearts there just to knock them both down, to manipulate this field soldier into dropping into the right pit. He's now going to do a bazooka at HUDs. We want him to not knock Major out of position, and he didn't, so that's good RNG there. The object with this mission is you see there's a worm in the middle there with who's pretty much more hat than worm. That is the politician who we are supposed to protect in this mission. We're protecting them from not just these enemy worms here, but we're also protecting them from a meteor shower that is scheduled to happen around turn 8. Now, what you're supposed to do is get a bunch of crates with girders in them and use them to build shelters to protect the VIP, but instead, we're just going to try and kill off all of the enemy worms before the Armageddon even has a chance to kick in. So, what we're doing now is creating one big pile by popping the mine next to the major there, and that's going to knock them in, and hopefully that's going to clear up this pile a little bit towards the right. Didn't actually happen on that occasion. Right, that's slightly annoying. So I'm going to have to once again YOLO this a little bit. Okay, they're skipping turn, which is good. Sometimes they can aim at the politician, which is a right pain if that happens. How much has HUD's got? 54. Okay, we should be okay to do this. So I'm going to use cluster trick on this artillery here. So that kills them off one by one. What we normally do is we'd normally baseball bat the pile into this pit here, but they're not aligned anywhere near well enough for us to be able to do that. So I'm going to have to try something a bit different. So what's happening here? We're getting a grenade. Not a terribly... Oh, that is absolutely wonderful. Right, okay, so let's... What I'm going to do now then is I'm going to... first of all, I'm going to grab this just in case. And secondly, I'm going to do a shotgun. And there's one worm who's pretty weak in this pile, so once we get the second shot in, they should start blowing each other up. Let's see what happens though. Shotgun bullets can get 25 damage each, by the way, if they are lined up perfectly. And there we go. So we've managed to kill this entire pile off. All the grave damages are now just going to knock them down. And the politician, as you can see, absolutely unscathed. The reason why it's RNG heavy and why it can be a run killer is sometimes they don't usually tend to aim at the politician, but sometimes they will just do a rogue shot at them for no reason, and if they got knocked into an enemy pile or if they get killed off, then that's a reset. This mission is called Mars Star. It's the only mission where you actually get to use an infinite amount of weapons per turn, and I'm going to fire. You basically have to blow up a crate in this mission, and it's this one here, and I'm just basically throwing 2 girders there, then setting a girder in place to deflect the shots into the crate like so, and skipping go at the end just to end the turn slightly quicker. So yeah, that's one of the quickest missions of the lot there. And then this mission is called Mad Cows, and it's not really much this one. It's another just kill all the enemy worms mission, and the only real gimmick is that you only get 20 seconds per turn. You've got a decent supply of weapons to be able to deal with them, and most of the moves are pretty unremarkable, apart from a grenade we're going to do on the major on top of the cow in a moment. So hyperlinks, if you've got anything you want to say, now is a good time to say it.
Yep, so we have a $50 donation from MoleSG saying this Worms run is fantastic. It takes me back. We love seeing a good bit of Worms here. We have a $30 donation from Anonymous and a $5 donation from RuffledBricks / Digital Duck Fan. Do we still have some time, or?
Yeah, about 30 seconds.
So we have a $20 donation from Valagamando as well. We just want to thank you all for donating. Obviously, it's going to a very good cause. So, RuffledBricks, I'll just throw it back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, and thanks for those donations. Right, so yeah, basically now what we're just going to do with this one is we're going to use a dynamite to kill this final major off. I'm going to do that by... The way that you do dynamite is we're doing what we call a dynamite hat. So we're going to place it on the worm's head there, and if you nudge, like just little increments along like that, you can tell what the trajectory of the dynamite is going to be. So I nudged about 5 pixels along there, and that I knew would be enough to get the diagonal trajectory, so the worm went straight into the water. So now here's another particularly annoying mission that can ruin your run sometimes. This one is called Bazooka on the Rocks. So named because the only weapon that you get in this is a bazooka. And as you know, bazookas are wind dependent, so it's quite tricky. We're starting off here with a pixel perfect bazooka there, which are just lined up on the oil drum there, and that knocked the two captains into the mine there, so that one of them basically just dies straight away, and then the grave damage kills off the other. The good thing about this mission is that wind, that 2-bar wind you can see down the bottom there, is always the same at the start of the mission, so you can always guarantee that shot. From here on in, however, the wind becomes RNG. And this is a big problem because this captain in the bottom left-hand corner is really difficult to get just with bazookas. I'm not going to worry about him just yet because we're going to take care of the major first. And this shot here onto the major, I'm going to try and knock him onto the mine. Just needs a very specific position there. There we go. And straight onto it. Perfect. So yeah, there's about 4 different positions you have to memorise for that shot, depending on which direction the wind is going and how strong it is. We got a strong left wind there, so that's the easiest. You just stand on the edge of the oil drum and shoot straight on. In other winds, you actually have to change the angle a little bit. And now here is how we're going to deal with the captain. So you notice I reset this mission once before I started it, and that generates the one crate that we get here, which is a homing missile. And I'm just going to line this, the crosshairs up about here, fire the missile into the air, just switching the camera so we can get a good close-up of it, and there we are, just knocking the captain straight into the explosion with the adjacent first aid crate there, killing them off. And that is pretty much the only real good way of killing that worm off. Like, if you have to do that with bazookas, then it's just such a pain. This mission is called Stolen Goods. I'm switching the background layer off on this to the lowest layer because we need to do some roping right down by the water here, and that just makes the kill plane of the water easier to identify. But usually for aesthetic reasons I like to have at least a couple of the layers on. So here we go, just swung there and just blowtorching through here to grab this weapon. The premise of this mission is that the some really powerful weapons of ours have fallen into the enemy hands, so we have to get them back so we can kill them off. And we got a wonderful weapon called a French sheep strike there, just from roping under and blowtorching in. The way you're supposed to do this mission is just by blowtorching all the way through the pros of the Microprose logo, who were the original publishers of the game, just FYI. But we ain't got time for that. So what we're going to do now we've got our weapon here, we're going to try and one-shot them, but this is RNG again, because the way these French sheep work is we just pop them, drop them there, they're all on fire, and they bounce once each, so you get 2 hits out of them, and ideally you'll kill off all 4 of them at once. However, because the right worm is in such a far out position, it's quite rare that you actually get it. We've got 3 worms though, so that's fine, and we got that from that worm blowing up the crate there to kill off that worm down there. So we have 1 field soldier who survived there. He's going to take a bit of grave damage here. I think this should bring down to 44. Okay, so that's decent. And so as long as Cry4 survives this move, then we can kill them off with a shotgun here, because we don't get much in the way of weapons. Oh yeah, absolutely, go ahead.
Yep. So with $20 from Jack of Hearts 171 saying, "Reporting for duty, sir. Had to donate during the best run of the marathon. Have you tried the PS1 version of this game? If you want to pull your own herd with RNG, I recommend it. With all these cool tricks, I'm blown away with the force of a holy hand grenade. Hallelujah."
Yeah, I did look into the PS1 version, and apparently it's much longer than this, and as Jack says, there's several missions in it that you have very little control over the outcome of them in, which, and the good thing about this run is that, yeah, it's mostly RNG, but you do at least have some control over what's going on, for the most part. So this mission is called Sinking Ice Cap, although we don't really need to worry about water in here. Now we only have blowtorches to attack the enemy worms, but fortunately they all have very low health. And here's a tough move here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we did there is we did 4 jumps during the retreat time on this mission, which is 5 seconds long. And that's positioned me on top of Assassin. Assassin is going to try and attack us with an airstrike. What that does is, because worms fall off other worms' heads when they're using a weapon, we landed on that mine, killing off the Assassin there before the airstrike could actually even launch. So we managed to get that worm to kill themselves off. What we wanted from that turn as well is we wanted our worm to actually end up with 7 HP or less. That did not happen, so I'm going to have to do a backup strat here. 2, 3, 4. So just jumping up here, and we're going to just stand on the apex of the cottage here, just on the roof. So we killed that assassin off with a blowtorch here, and now hopefully if we've got this right, we're going to trick the assassin here into killing themselves off as well. Yeah, here we go. So here comes the airstrike. It kills us off, but it also hits the oil drum there, which then just knocks this assassin into the mine. Stop, he's already dead. And there we go. And again, we lose our worm, but it doesn't matter because we managed to kill off all the enemy worms, and that's all that matters in this mission. But yeah, there's a slightly quicker thing you can do if you had 7 HP or less from the mine trick, but it's very hard to actually guarantee that you get that. This mission is called Aim Long, Aim True. This is another artillery mission in that we are routed to the spot, and the only weapon we have to deal with all these enemy worms on this indestructible robot terrain is girders. So I've placed a bunch of girder starter pack here. Oh, sorry, grenades rather. We've got the girders are going to help us angle the grenades for some of the shots here. So just need to get this angle right first of all. So throwing a full strength 5-second grenade here onto the shoulder of this robot, knocking the grenadier down onto this other grenadier. Left grenadier is going to die, and the right grenadier is going to take 13 damage. You'll notice, by the way, a lot of the shots that we do in this run, we do at full power. This is just because it makes it easier to repeat the shot on latter attempts there. Now, those girders I placed there partly function in terms of stopping this grenadier from killing us, but they also help us to funnel a grenade down. Unfortunately, it didn't quite go the way I wanted it to there, so I'm going to have to send another grenade down that funnel there. Usually what happens is it lands next to the grenadier, and it will knock them into the other grenadier like so, but yeah, so that hasn't happened. So now the middle grenadier actually has a chance to get us back here, and if that happens, then this might be a reset. We'll have to see how it goes. So let's see, what are they up to? Alright, there. Ooh, okay, they missed. They are CPU 4 if you look at the flag next to their name there, which denotes their CPU intelligence level. So I'm going to have to start YOLOing some shots now in order to try and get Grenadier back here. Okay, looks like we should have got it. Yes, okay, good. Yeah, you don't really want to have to YOLO shots on this one if you can help it, because it's much harder to get the angles right, and you can be here a long time, but fortunately we managed to get it first try. Now we just got to kill this general off, and we're going to do that with quite an elaborate shot here. And we're setting it to max bounce. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but you can actually change the bounce of the grenades between minimum and maximum. And this means that you just ricochet the grenade off that top girder, bounces between the two girders there, and kills the general off. Like so. So now we're on to the anti-penultimate mission of the run. This is called Goody Two Shoes. A bit of a misnomer. As you can see, there's 3 shoes around. Also possibly a shoe in that shoebox there, but hey, maybe they were on a double shift deadline and didn't have time to think about the titles. This is another shopper mission, this one. We don't have much in the way of weapons at the moment, so we need to use our aqua sheep to grab some of these crates. We need only 4 of them to get the weapons we need for this. However, the first part of this mission is not particularly interesting. We're just going to be blowtorching up to the surface. So hyperlink, again, anything you want to talk about, you've got about a minute to do that in.
I would just like to highlight to everyone that we currently have a bid goal for Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion for a any percent no out of bounds speedrun. We are currently at 190 out of $150. So if you want to see that, I'd suggest throwing your money towards that.
Excellent. Right, okay, so just got one more blowtorch to do now. So this field soldier's throwing a grenade at us. I don't think it's going to do much in the way of damage on the shoe. No. Okay, so we're going to need another blowtorch here just to get to the surface. And by the way, you'll notice that it's an aqua sheep I've got to collect these, and it does imply that you can use that while you're underneath the blue shoe there. You technically can, but the weapons that we're going to get from these crates generally aren't going to be enough to kill off the worms above the shoes unless you get really good RNG. There's a TAS version of this mission done by a runner called Lex that shows how you can do that. But yeah, so here we go. This is the moment of truth, and I get a spare crate, by the way, because I reset the mission once. I'll talk about that in a moment. But this is the moment of truth. So here comes our aqua sheep. So getting our airstrike, getting the grenades and ninja rope and the baseball bat here, and then I'm just going to plough this into the field soldier there. And we don't actually get the object in the crate there. It's a napalm strike, which can be useful in this mission, but we don't need it. So what I do instead is I just use that as extra ammunition in order to ensure that we can one-shot that worm, you know, with the sheep. So now we've got all the weapons we need. So I'm going to start by getting up to the field soldier, just on the tongue of the shoe here. Now, sometimes they actually shoot on the top of the shoe with a bazooka, and that enables us to actually get to the surface a bit quicker, but they've not done so. So using a baseball bat there, we're deflecting them off the tongue of the shoe there to go into the water. And these enemy worms have... I can't remember if I mentioned this in the previous mission, but if you look next to the enemy worm's name, you'll see a flag with a number in it. That denotes the enemy worm's CPU level, with 5 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. And if they are CPU 5, then they have the most accurate shots out of any of the worms here. So this is actually a mission where you do have to be a little careful and make sure that you're sort of sheltering pretty well for a fair chunk of it, just because otherwise, you know, you've only got 100 health on this one, and the shots can really wear you down if you end up in a bad situation. There we are, second baseball bat there to get rid of that worm, and then this should manipulate the major at the top here into walking right on the top of the shoe. So they're going to throw a grenade at us first, and then they're going to end the turn by walking right. The worms in Worms Armageddon have a rightward bias, by the way, the enemy worms do, in terms of how they will move, so you can usually rely on that to gauge where they're going to go. But just doing a airstrike there and doing a very specific position there just to ensure that we manage to get both major and field soldier into the water in one shot. So now here is the penultimate mission, Trouble in Toy Store. Not the toy store, just toy store. Starting off again with another pixel perfect grenade here, and this kills off 2 of the main enemy worms we need to worry about. Artillery and grenadier there. Just knocking the grenadier into artillery like so. You'll notice we have a VIP in this mission as well. There's a scientist underneath the handlebars there looking a bit sick. The scientist is poisoned, so they will lose 3 HP between every turn. However, unlike Countdown to Armageddon, it's not really something we need to worry about in this one, because the enemy barely even go for him in the route that we use. What we do need to worry about is this move coming up, because this is, I think, the last big RNG move of the run. And this is a cluster trick, but we're doing it from a long distance by bouncing the cluster bomb under the captain like that, knocking them into the mine pit with Sniper along with them. And Captain died, Sniper did not die. Now that's to be expected. Sometimes you can one-shot both of them if they land on the mines correctly, but the cluster spread from a cluster bomb is RNG, so you can't always guarantee that you're going to get the best results with that. This is good enough though. Sniper only has a shotgun, so they're going to just shoot aimlessly at that. And then the assassin underneath there is the only worm that's really going to cause a threat to the scientist. So they're the one we're going to deal with last, but we'll get to that in a moment. Now you can use a weapon called a mortar to try and kill off the sniper in this mission. However, mortar is the worst weapon going in the entire game. It is so flimsy and so annoying. So what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to land on that mine, knocking the adjacent mine into the sniper there to kill them off. It's a bit of a long trek, as you can see, but it's just, it saves having to do anything more elaborate than that if the mortar goes wrong. Then assassin is going to aim up, I think at Jack, but it might go for Cry 4 here. Okay, aiming at Jack there, so that's good. So, I'm going to now place a dynamite, because as you see we don't have many powerful weapons, but we've got the dynamite here which enables us to get closer to the assassin so that we can kill them off on the following turn. But I'm just going to pop there. Actually, do I want to? Yes, okay, I'm going to do a little trick here just to ensure that we can definitely get down to the assassin. So, popping that there, and I'm placing my worm in this specific position here so that it actually knocks him into the hole there. And Cry4 is now going to do grave damage here that will basically ensure that we can definitely get to the assassin. And now I think the scientist might tank a little bit of damage here, but it shouldn't be as much as 54, so we should be okay on this. So yeah, Uzi, yeah, little bit of damage on there, but absolutely nothing to worry about there.
You'll regret that.
Because again, if scientist gets killed, then you know the mission is over. But we're just going to now kill off assassin here with the final cluster trick of the run. And booyah! So now we've got the final mission of the run coming up, and you're probably expecting that it must be a big, massive climax to end the run, and you would be wrong. This mission is called Spectral Recovery. The idea with this mission is that a crate we need to grab is going to drop onto... It's basically going to drop on the left side of the map after several turns. It's going to land in the water. Our job is to save the crate as it belongs to our base. Now, the way we need to do that is to grab a girder from a crate in the middle of the ZX Spectrum tape in the middle there and place the girder accordingly. Well, we could just do that by blowtorching all the way to the girder and then to the crate, and the enemies wouldn't damage us too much. But we're actually going to play this a bit more dangerously. We're going to try and kill off the enemy worms here. So starting off here, have we got a max bounce? Yes, it's max bounce. So bouncing our 2-second grenade at the captain, and that's going to knock the captain into the water whilst we jump knock the grenadier into the water at the same time. You have to forgive me, the aspect ratio is 4:3 here, so you didn't get to see the best of both of those shots, but just trust that they happen well. And then captain here, because you've got to bear in mind here, captain's under a lot of pressure. He's got to absolutely save this mission now. He's the only worm left. It's the last mission. Captain, come on. I know you got this. I know you can defeat Cry4. Give it your best shot, son. Let's see what you can do.
Surprise!
Came really close, I've got to say. That was literally like inches away from killing us off. But to no avail, so we are now going to just blowtorch down to the captain, knocking them off the oil drum there. Bet you thought I was going to blow up the oil drum, but no, we need Cry4 to still be alive. And it goes into the water, and you're probably thinking, like, wow, okay, so all the worms are dead. End of the mission, right? Well, no, because we still have to get the crate. So now what happens is that because all the enemy worms are dead, we now take all of the enemy worms' turns, which is good, because otherwise they'd be donated to charity. So we're grabbing the girder, and then we're just going to blowtorch up to the top of this left-hand tape here, set up the girder, and wait, basically just skip go until the crate that we need arrives. And just a heads up for the tech, time is going to be when the congratulations screen, the final congratulations screen, shows up on screen. But yeah, it's a bit of a anticlimax to the run, because it's basically just blowtorching from here on in. So I'm just going to use this opportunity to do a few shout outs before we wrap up here. Firstly, I want to say a big thank you to everyone in the Worms Armageddon speedrunning community who's contributed to routing this over the years. Most specifically to Mad Black, who is the current world record holder for this run and has done loads of great work in routing this over the years. Also shout outs to Dead Code, to Lex, to Psychotropic, to Peachy for being the first ever runner to put a run on the leaderboard on SRC, and her run was the one that inspired me to actually run this in the first place. So please come back, Peachy, we need you more than ever. She hasn't played this game for a while, but yeah, here we go. I'm just buffering. Skip goes now. And by the way, if you are interested in learning how to run this game, or even just interested in runs of this in general, then do join the Worms Speedrunning Discord, where we talk about a lot of strats for this and other Worms games. Here comes the crate. We're grabbing the crates, and time! So yeah, you don't get much of an end sequence for the missions here. You just get a nice fanfare, gold medal for your last mission there, and an all missions completed message. But that is Worms Armageddon. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to UKSG for letting me run this fantastic run as well. This is one of my favourite speed runs of all time. I've only been speed running for a year and a half, but it is currently very much up there, and I heartily encourage anyone interested in the game to give it a go. I've written a whole guide, by the way, on how to do it, so if you check the resources section on speedrun.com, or the guide section rather, then you will find it there. Anyway, hyperlinks, do you have a sense of how long, what the final time was on that run?
From what I can see, it was 1 hour, 18 minutes and 34 seconds.
Okay, not bad. We had some real RNG mishaps in that run, and also just some plain old human mishaps as well. So 1 hour 18, I will very much take that. So hyperlinks, anything you want to say before I wrap up?
Nothing on my end, other than thank you for the run. It's very entertaining to watch. Never seen a Worms run, but glad I was here to see this one.
Oh yes, absolutely. And by the way, a quick shout out to myself, twitch.tv/RuffledBricks, currently working on Worms 2 and Worms World Party as speedruns go, so please do give a follow if you want to see more of the same but different. And also I do ZX Spectrum speedruns as well.
Thank you. With that, we're going to go to a quick break, but don't be going anywhere, because next up we have a Resident Evil 2 race between Snake Sucom and Liam MC90. So stick around if you're interested in that. It's going to be very fun.